Okay, so it's been about a year and a half since Dragon Ball Super's anime ended with the Tournament of Power arc. Currently, the anime is, I believe, wrapping up its run on Toonami, the English dub. So, what happened with the series? Why isn't there any new Dragon Ball Super anime? A lot of fans were speculating that we would have had it back by now, but we still haven't, and I kind of wanted to dive into it and just talk a little bit about Dragon Ball Super 2 or Dragon Ball Super's inevitable return. Let's jump into it.
Whether Facebook, Twitter, or the two, make sure to steer clear, cause I'm coming through like...
Okay, so before we continue, this video is brought to you by Aurora Legend, an RPG game that you can download on the Google Play and App Store. Link will be in the description below. There's a lot of awesome things you could do in the game. For starters, recruit heroes in the tavern, basically gacha style, where you use the gems to try and summon different heroes. You could take 5 times out of 10 draws continuously in the tavern to get a 3-star hero, and some of these heroes, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty badass. You can enter quests, choose to take expeditions, defeat monsters, and it's really relaxing. Honestly, it's not one of those games where you gotta constantly be on it. Sometimes you can just let the battles roll because it's automatic, and you get to see some of the epic fighting going on as you do what you do. You can build super combo teams. That's one of the things I think is really freaking awesome to look at, and you can show their super combo effects, so they'll do like a big move set together. Things like that is freaking awesome. As well as if you want to fight with a friend, you could do trials, and you can fight a duel with a friend. So if you and your friend want to play this together and match up heroes. Now the EU server launches on August 30th, and if you want to follow the official Facebook account, that's facebook.com/Aurora Legend Global. They'll be hosting events where you can win a variety of prizes on their page, which is cool if you like to get bonuses in the game. And overall, it's a very enjoyable and relaxing RPG. If you don't want ones that are like stressful or whatnot, definitely check out Aurora Legend. Again, description below will have the link so you can download it on the Google Play and App Store. So yeah, it's been about a year and a half since Dragon Ball Super's TV anime ended with the Tournament of Power, 131 episodes, and a lot of fans were left with like, yo, how you gonna have us all hyped like this? Because it felt like Dragon Ball Super's anime kept building up to bigger and grander battles. We went from like, future Trunks returning to then this giant tournament with these strong fighters from different universes. It kept on building up, and fans was like, okay, we have to get more, right? And it was at an all-time high. I never had seen since the early days of like, Toonami, when Dragon Ball Z came and exploded anime in the West. I never seen really Dragon Ball at that peak that it was around the end of its run of, the initial anime, Dragon Ball Super, Tournament of Power, whatnot. And I was like, okay, so what's next? Obviously, the manga, it kept going, and then in November, it actually surpassed what, the events were from the movie, as well as the events from the TV anime. So we actually have continued since then. Since November of 2018, I want to say, we continued on and we surpassed the events, and now where we're at a really freaking awesome arc that is yet to be animated. And to my knowledge, aside from unofficial leaks and whatnot, we still haven't had any confirmation of a full-on solid release for, the TV anime. Now, in case you missed it, a while back, there was an announcement where I believe it was one of the producers or animators, something along the lines of that, with people behind the scenes from the Dragon Ball company, not Toei, because I think they have a small established Dragon Ball staff, I'm imagining, from what they've said, that curates, different Dragon Ball content. We got a movie announcement, and we heard that the next movie is going to be vastly different from Broly. While Broly, the Dragon Ball Super Broly film, was crazy, amazing, everybody loved it, the return of Gogeta and all that stuff, they said that they were going to go in a different direction. And in fact, that movie, I believe it came out in Japan December of 2018, and in North America, we got it January of 2019. So it's been about less than a year since we've had any Dragon Ball Super actual animation. Now, again, the TV anime ended in March of 2018, but we did get the film in December and January of 2018 and 2019 respectively. So it's kind of like, where to next? And why is it that despite Dragon Ball being a huge, major success with its return of Dragon Ball Super, did they pull the plug and they still haven't brought it back? Now, obviously, we can mainly just speculate, but one of the things I've noticed is that Dragon Ball, despite Super ending, which you got to keep in mind, right? Anime is very expensive to produce. It costs sometimes anywhere from $100,000 to like $500,000, $1 million per episode, especially something that is ongoing like that. That is a huge investment. 131 episodes. They've spent millions upon millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, not even tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions, I'm imagining, or about 100 million, producing the Dragon Ball Super anime. So with that investment, obviously they want a return. And with Dragon Ball Super's anime ending, so now they're not obviously putting in all this money, right? They're not constantly every week investing in these animators and all this stuff that they have to do in order to create the Dragon Ball Super anime. So they're just kind of collecting revenue. And from what I've seen, and we're going to read real quick this fiscal year of, Dragon Ball Super and Toei Animation, the profits and things of that, why they're kind of like, we don't really need a rush here right now. Again, we do have the movie in the works, which I'm imagining they're putting in a decent amount of money into it, but it's at the end of the day a business. And if they're making tons of money despite not really having to do anything other than, licensing it to different countries, localization and things of that, and selling merchandise, they don't really got to keep on pumping out that money until the Dragon Ball Super hype starts to die down. I think with the run of Dragon Ball Super in North America coming to an end, that gives a little sign of, okay, the hype is going to start to die down. The merchandise, the games, we got Dragon Ball's Kakarot or something like that is coming out, but after that, well, there's no anime on TV boosting in North America, and it's probably finishing its run around the world as well. They're going to probably have to bring it back at some given point, right? Because even though they're doing a film, Dragon Ball Super didn't explode just off of film. You know what I mean? It was like, we had the Resurrection F film and Battle of Gods film, but it was really the TV anime. Once we got to Universe 6 and especially Goku Black, that's where the popularity exploded of Dragon Ball Super. So I'm imagining that they're going to have that mindset of, we need this weekly anime to give it back that dominance. Because to be honest with you, Dragon Ball Super's, or Dragon Ball in general, its hype has died down dramatically in the West. There's people that still love it and all that stuff, but it's been a while. We've been hungry and patiently waiting, and it's like, what are you guys doing? But let's take a look at some of the reasons why they don't feel the need to immediately rush out and invest on another week-to-week millions and millions of dollar investment on creating the Dragon Ball Super anime. So Toei and Bandai financial results. Dragon Ball makes around $1.2 billion in 2019. Toei Animation and Bandai Namco published their final results for the fiscal year 2019, which started in April 1st of 2018, so a month after the Dragon Ball Super anime ended, and ended March 31st, 2019. So this is straight off of Dragon Ball Super's anime ending, them not having to invest that money, and all the way through to about a year since the anime ended. For Bandai, Dragon Ball made almost $350 million on the last quarter alone and $1.17 billion on the whole fiscal year. It answered for almost a fifth of their total sales and was by far their biggest franchise. In fact, if you sum Bandai's sales with Gundam, One Piece, and Naruto, you still need about an Ultraman worth of cash to equal Dragon Ball. Note that before Dragon Ball became this invisible juggernaut, Gundam had been Bandai's biggest franchise for at least a decade. So imagine, combining Gundam, One Piece, and Naruto, Bandai still doesn't equal close to what they do with Dragon Ball alone. Now, that's probably one of the reasons why they're at least doing this Dragon Ball Heroes anime, because they want to keep the hype going. They realize, hey, fans want more Dragon Ball, and the longer you wait, the more hype you're dying down, the more it's kind of like a machine. It's just like with a YouTube channel, for example. You wait too long, people start forgetting, people move on. Bandai's like, let's do this Heroes anime so that people don't completely forget, since Toei Animation want to, just do a film and take their sweet little time, despite the manga already having, there's plenty of content. There's almost a year's worth of content of manga chapters alone that they can adapt, but of course, they get the scripts and they get the outline from Toriyama and his staff, so they could already been started it, but look at how much money it's making without having to make that investment. Let's keep going. For Toei, Dragon Ball made at least $43 million on the last quarter. That is more than 40% of their total revenue, almost half of the money they made without, again, I gotta keep on saying it, without having to invest in it. They just simply selling stuff, licensing stuff. Again, the only thing that they're really creating, Toei themselves, because Bandai, I believe, are the ones that are handling Dragon Ball Heroes anime, is this film that hasn't even gotten a release date, trailers, nothing like that. So they really only have one project right now. Maybe they're in pre-production for an actual anime. Maybe they're going to launch the anime after the film launches, something like that. I don't know. But as it stands right now, they're not having to pump out all that money, and of course the stress of, you know, overworking animators, because a weekly anime in comparison to a seasonal thing where you get like 12 episodes or 24 episodes, 2 seasons back to back, and then take a break, it's way different with weekly. You know, you gotta constantly meet these deadlines, and you know, you gotta get, sometimes they be working on storyboards and you know, animating this stuff all the way up until the hour that they gotta hand it into the studio so that it can air. In the case of Bandai, Dragon Ball surpassed their initial estimate for the entire year in 9 months, forcing them to rise their estimates by $360 million. Then it proceeded to smash through their new updated estimate by around $90 million. In the fiscal year 2019, April 2018 to March 2019, Dragon Ball made about $1.174 billion for Bandai and $193 million for Toei. An interesting comparison is looking at the quarterly revenue numbers for Bandai and Toei. You can see how much Dragon Ball related revenue rose with Resurrection F's launch, and particularly the Future Trunks and Universal Survival arcs. Like I said, those were the ones where the hype really started to go astronomically huge. Another interesting comparison is with the percentages of other top franchises from Bandai and Toei. As you can see, Dragon Ball permanently surpassed One Piece with the beginning of the Future Trunks arc and surpassed Gundam around the end of it. You can also see this is a graph by Toei themselves that shows their domestic licensing revenue being increasingly dominated by Dragon Ball. That's because Dragon Ball managed to turn into a big game franchise, while One Piece got stuck with the flagging toy segment. Pretty much in every category, they increased their revenues. Toei attributes their higher performances to strong Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball game sales, and pretty much in every category they decreased revenue. It's clear it was due to Dragon Ball Super not being on air. In fact, they laminated their dependency on Dragon Ball and mobile games in one of their slides. As for costs, they have even increased a bit, so it's not like they're saving gobs of money. Incidentally, they also say they signed multi-year contracts with some of North American distributors, so if you want Funimation out, you'll have to wait. Which, with all the controversy going on over there, I'm imagining Toei Animation's probably a little upset about that, because now they're kind of locked in, even if they wanted to yank the contracts from Funimation, but that's a whole other topic that I don't really care to dive into. It was revealed that they will release Dragon Ball Super Broly in China May 24th, which that already came and went, and that the movie global box office topped 13 billion yen. Honestly, their next fiscal year looks a bit bleak, and their future prospects are pretty terrible if Dragon Ball Legends, Dokkan, and Co. start falling in revenue, as they pretty much depend on those. And another thing that I just thought while I was reading that is, you gotta imagine, until they actually start seeing that decline in revenue, until things start to drop, they also wanna probably move with the mindset, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's not broke in terms of, like, right now, what they have done, 131 episodes in a film, and that is bringing in all these millions and billions of dollars for Bandai and for Toei, they're not going to want to put something out and risk, you know, while all this is coming in, like, damn, people don't like it and it makes Dragon Ball fall off. So I'm imagining they also don't want to take that extra step, simply because, like, yo, we basically are printing money without having to do nothing other than release video games right now. So I'm imagining there's a multitude of things, but mainly, of course, it comes down to financial gain. You don't need to throw out money if you already have it coming in, and there's no reason to. But once things start to die down again, Dragon Ball Super's anime is just about to wrap up. I want to say, I heard that they were recording the Ultra Instinct episode fairly recently in August. So if they're doing that, more than likely, probably September it'll wrap up. Things is going to start dropping. Dokkan sales is going to start going down. Legends, the Kakarot game might not be the big success that they're hoping for. Who knows? So I'm imagining next year for sure, if there is no Dragon Ball Super anime, at the very least the film, I can almost guarantee we'll get the film. But if there's no Dragon Ball Super anime by next year, then honestly I don't know what they're doing, because this is a cash cow for them. They could clearly are dependent on it. One Piece only took them so, you know, far. As far as, like, One Piece is big in Japan, Dragon Ball is humongous globally, and globally that brings in a lot more revenue, and especially if, like, it's bringing in 50% of things, like, they need Dragon Ball. So more than likely, with all that being said, we will probably be getting Dragon Ball Super anime next year once everything dies down. Maybe we'll have the film, and then shortly after the anime will debut, or vice versa. Maybe the anime will debut, and then we'll have a big film that'll take place somewhere in there. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I have no doubt in my mind we will get the Dragon Ball Super anime. This is too much money. Toei Animation and these publishers are too dependent on this franchise to just let it completely die. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason they probably haven't immediately thrown something else out is, again, they're profiting right now very, very well. The second they start to see profits dip, oh, throw something new out there. The fans need it, and we need them, you know, dollars. Kind of curious what you guys think about this, though. I guess one of the things I want to ask is, have you lost a bit of interest since Dragon Ball Super ended? I mean, again, the anime ended March of 2018. And, you know, that's what, a year and a half ago, and we haven't had anything since the film, as far as, you know, anime-wise, that came out in Japan in December of 2018, and over here in North America 2019. Do you just not feel as enthusiastic and as excited? I could even tell when it comes to the manga, people really aren't that talking about it. I mean, it is popular, don't get me wrong, but in comparison to when the anime was coming out and people were hyped about it, people were hyped about both. But without the anime, the manga definitely isn't as impactful. And honestly, like, as great as it's been, because it's been a freaking awesome ride, it's not really as, I guess for me, it doesn't get me that excited, simply because it was a combination of both that I loved. Like, oh, I get the manga chapter this month and I get the new episode every week. It was like a culmination of excitement. So we'll probably get the anime next year, but it is a shame that they've waited this long and we still got nothing. The last thing we got again was January, and it's like, y'all want them big bucks to keep coming in. You got to keep on feeding the fans what they want, which is more Dragon Ball. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the Dragon Ball Super anime. If you have not read the manga, I can assure you that the arc that we're in right now, that will probably be the first arc, I'm imagining, unless they reanimate the Broly film. It's going to be freaking awesome, and you guys are going to really be in for a treat, well, from what we got so far. So yeah, Dragon Ball Super anime, let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe next year. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell. Make sure you get all notifications. The second the Dragon Ball Super anime returns, I will notify you. Yeah, I'll be the first to notify. Well, maybe not the first, but I'll be one of the first to notify you. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I hope you know that